Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to The Papers. In the next few minutes, we will be walking you through what's upcoming in al-Hakam and al-Fazl, the two central organ newspapers of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. On my left, we have Qasid Moin Sahib, who is from al-Hakam, and we will begin with Qasid. So Qasid, what's being featured this week in al-Hakam?
So our main story is the 124th Jalsa Salana Qadian. In this we saw Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Ayyad Allah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz addressing the concluding session of Jalsa Salana Qadian, and we also gave details of the event that took place in Qadian. Obviously Hazur's address was streamed live on MTA, but the actual Jalsa Salana which took place in Qadian, we've given a bit of news about that, who spoke at the Jalsa, facts and figures, etc. What we also have this week is very interesting. We have a mulaqat of the National Amla of Majlis Qudam al-Ahmadiyya UK. And it's a new Amla which has just been formed. And they had the honor of meeting Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, speaking to him and getting guidance about their various roles, the respective roles of Qudam al-Ahmadiyya. And Hazur, one of the key highlights that Hazur gave in that mulaqat was the fact that all Khuddam should be not only practicing, observing the 5 daily prayers themselves, but they should also be then living example for the Khuddam in the UK and around the world. Next up we have 3 different Jalsa Salanas. Like I mentioned, we have Qadian Jalsa, we have another Jalsa which is the west coast of the United States. They also had their Jalsa. We've got a report about that. We have a report about the Jalsa Salana of Mayotte, and the reason that is important and significant historically is because it was the first Jalsa Salana of Mayotte.
I just wanted to ask something which is featured every single week, and of course that's this week in history. So if you could kindly tell us about what's featured in that section.
So this week in history, I mean, if we take today, which is the 4th of January, and tomorrow, which is the 5th of January, we have a court case of the promised Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salatu wasalam, in which a certain person, he filed a case against the promised Messiah. The promised Messiah had to travel on that day to a certain place.
So the whole idea is basically capturing this week in the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Exactly, on a daily basis, try and give something of a flavor of what happened on this day. I mean, the Jamaat, the Ahmadiyya Jamaat has such a rich history. Yeah. Even right now, it's almost coming up to a year of al-Hakam. Yes. And in al-Hakam, we haven't even encapsulated, I think, a lot of the history. Most of the history of the Jamaat has still not touched our pages yet.
Jazakallah Qasid. So we'll move on to al-Fazl. And al-Fazl, of course, very, very important, very historical newspaper for the Ahmadiyya community. So Fatih, tell us about this week.
So this is al-Fazl International, as you're aware, it's an Urdu newspaper. And again, like al-Hakam, it's very central to Jamaat news and what Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis is doing. So this week there's numerous sermons of Hazur. There's Hazur's Eid al-Fitr sermon, Hazur's Friday sermon, like in al-Hakam as well. And there's also Hazur's engagements, which is always very interesting for al-Fazl readers. Also, there's various articles within al-Fazl. This week there's a piece by Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu anhu about 10 proofs which prove the existence of God. There's also an article about the word mosque and how Ahmadi Muslims in Pakistan are not allowed to use the word masjid as such because it's an Islamic term. Further, there's a special message which Hazur sent to Jamaat Ahmadiyya Tanzania, and they had their 49th Jalsa Salana, and so Hazur sent a special message there, and that's included in al-Fazl. There's various other articles as well. One very interesting read this week is Hazur's engagement in America, and when Hazur went to Guatemala. So there's a sitting with new Ahmadi converts, and they ask some very interesting questions, and Hazur gives answers to these. And of course, this is all written in al-Fazl. Apart from that, like al-Hakam, there's weekly updates of what's happening around the world within the Jamaat as well.
Jazakallah, we advise and we very much encourage our viewers to go on to al-Hakam.org and al-Fazl.org to read these newspapers. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.